Hey, I don't know if you know this or not, but Ambien sales plummeted this week because Americans realized that instead of taking a pill to help them sleep, all they had to do was watch Jerry Nadler and the House Judiciary Committee pretend that they were on track to impeach President Trump. And of course, they said they were doing it out of their civic duty. Don't know if you saw it, but even Nadler himself dozed off during the hearings. It really was that bad. But it wasn't boring because 3 out of the 4 law professors hauled in to be experts droned on and on about how smart they were and how bad President Trump is and how stupid his supporters are. No, it was boring because it was nothing but balloon juice from highly partisan Democrats who to this day have continued to shed tears and scream because they didn't win the 2016 presidential election. Now, it was amazing that with a straight face, many of the Democrats on the committee said out loud they were unsure about impeachment, even though 17 of the 24 members of the Democratic side of the committee had already voted to impeach the president in the months before. Please think on that. Before having heard a shred of evidence, they had already decided what the charges and the punishment should be. So imagine if you got charged with a crime and the jury pool deciding your fate came to the trial having already publicly declared that before the first witness or fact was presented, they already knew they were ready to convict you. I mean, do you think anybody would believe that's a fair trial? If you don't like or if you cannot vote for Donald Trump or the Republicans next year, fine. But you might want to either not vote, write in somebody's name, or vote for an independent rather than trust people like Adam Schiff, Jerry Nadler, Nancy Pelosi, and the folks with them, because I don't know if you want them to have even a piece of your government. Remember, voters gave them the House in 2018, but instead of passing the incredibly important USMCA trade bill, border security, protection of Social Security, or innovations to hold down the cost of your health care, the Democrats have focused on one and only one thing: impeaching a president that was elected, but that the Democrats and the D.C. swamp rats just can't stand. Hey, the solution to removing a president you don't like is electing a different one in the next election, not to undo the previous election. That's how our system's supposed to work. Their verdict of impeachment hasn't changed before Trump took office. But the reason has changed more than a baby's diaper, and for exactly the same reason. Now, the one law professor who made sense out of the whole thing was Jonathan Turley of George Washington University School of Law. He said there was an abuse of power, but not by the president, but by the House Democrats. Now, keep in mind, he explicitly stated he was not a Trump supporter. He didn't vote for Trump. He said it out loud. He said he voted for Clinton, he voted for Obama, but his very clear reason for warning against impeachment was that there was no constitutional grounds for impeachment, and to proceed would constitute an abuse of power, which is the very thing the Democrats accused the president of. Hey, one thing is clear. If the Democrats proceed with this sham, the equivalence of what I call political pornography, President Trump will win by a landslide a year from now. Now, Americans, they might like a good fight, and if they're in a fight, they want their side to win. I'm going to tell you something. Most Americans want the fight to be fair, and they're smart enough to know that these trumped-up charges are not about you, the Constitution, or our children's future. It's about petulant, petty, and politically bitter people trying to rig an election. And even Democrats, at least the fair ones, know that's not how we elect or how we get rid of a president. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, then subscribe, and hit the notification bell below. Now, if you didn't like it, You ought to find a Ben Shapiro video to detox you with more facts.